The Romans were famous for a lot of things. Engineering, warfare, conquering the known world, but creativity wasn't really their strong suit. At first, they didn't even have a cool origin story. The truth is, Rome probably started as a rough collection of warlike shepherd tribes who settled along the hills of the Tiber River. Practical, sure. Epic? Not so much. But as Rome rose to power, the Romans started looking around at their neighbors. The Greeks had the Iliad, Odyssey, the gods, heroes, drama, and the Romans realized, we've got nothing. So, during the reign of Emperor Augustus, the poet Virgil decided to fix that problem. He wrote an epic, the Aeneid, claiming that after the Trojan War, the hero Aeneas escaped from burning Troy, wandered the Mediterranean, and eventually became the ancestor of Rome's founders. It was brilliant. Now Rome could say, see, we're descended from the Trojans. Heroes, noble blood, totally meant to rule the world. And whether or not anyone believed it didn't really matter. Virgil's story gave Rome a divine origin and destiny. But before Caesars, before empires, there were two brothers, a wolf, and a murder that started it all. Let's dig in. Every great civilization starts with a story, and Rome, the eternal city, has one of the wildest origin stories of them all. It begins in Alba Longa, where King Numitor ruled peacefully, until his jealous brother Amulius decided he wanted the throne. Amulius overthrew Numitor and forced his niece Rhea Silvia to become a Vestal Virgin, a priestess sworn to remain unmarried and childless. A clever way to cut off the royal bloodline. But the gods had other plans. The war god Mars fell in love with Rhea Silvia, and soon she gave birth to twin sons, Romulus and Remus. When Amulius found out, he panicked. Those boys could grow up to take back the throne. So he ordered them drowned in the Tiber River. But the servant tasked with the job couldn't do it. Instead, he placed the infants in a basket and set them adrift, hoping fate would decide their destiny. The basket floated downriver and came to rest near the Palatine Hill. And there, the most famous foster mother in mythology appeared, a she-wolf. Instead of devouring the babies, she nursed them, keeping them alive. I wonder what wolf milk tastes like. Some versions say a woodpecker, also sacred to Mars, brought them food. Eventually, a shepherd named Faustulus found the twins and took them home to his wife. They raised the boys as their own, and the boys grew up strong and clever, and a bit wild, half farm kid, half future legend. As young men, they gathered followers, basically ancient Italian street gangs, and started picking fights with other herders. But when they discovered their true identity, they took action. They marched to Alba Longa, overthrew King Amulius, and restored their grandfather Numitor to power. But they weren't content to stay there. The twins wanted to found their own city, on the very spot where the she-wolf had saved them. That's when the brotherly love ended. Romulus wanted to build on the Palatine Hill where they'd been found. Remus preferred the Aventine Hill. They argued about omens, who saw more birds, who had divine approval, and if you've ever argued with a sibling, you know how this goes. Eventually, Remus mocked Romulus's half-built walls by jumping over them. Bad idea. Romulus snapped and struck him down. And just like that, Romulus killed Remus and became the first king of his new city, Rome, named after himself. Sibling rivalry, ancient edition. As king, Romulus welcomed exiles, fugitives, and wanderers, basically anyone willing to start over. It was a city of outcasts, but there was one big problem: no women. So Romulus came up with a plan. He invited a neighboring tribe, the Sabines, to a big festival. Everyone showed up, and when the Sabines least expected it, the Romans grabbed their women and ran. The Sabine men declared war, but in the middle of the battle, the kidnapped women, now wives and mothers, ran between the armies and begged them to stop fighting. Apparently they'd forgotten about their former lives and their former husbands and former children. Their courage united the two peoples, turning enemies into allies and making Rome stronger than ever. Interesting story. Romulus ruled for many years, organizing the army, building fortifications, and establishing Rome's first Senate. He was part warrior, part lawgiver, and, depending on who you asked, part tyrant. Then, one day, during a violent storm, he disappeared. Some said jealous nobles murdered him. Others claimed he was taken up into the heavens and transformed into the god Quirinus, protector of Rome. Either way, his story became the cornerstone of Roman identity. Now, was any of this true? Probably not, but archaeology does show that around 753 BC, small settlements were merging on the Palatine Hill, right where the story says Rome began. So maybe the myth of Romulus and Remus wasn't about facts, it was about identity. Rome saw itself born from struggle, divine favor mixed with brutal ambition. A wolf raised them. A brother was murdered, and a city that began in legend would one day rule the world. This is Have to Know History. History you just have to know. Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll have more soon.